So, John of God, the spiritual medium who everyone in the world, including Oprah, people who were looking for answers for healing, went to, now being exposed as a sexual predator and is going to jail, and there's more and more truth coming out. I'm here to share my journey about John of God because I'm here to reclaim my power, and my prayer here is that you see this as an opportunity. There's something from your past. Maybe there was a sexual trauma or assault or decisions or whatever that may be that may have taken away your power, that you find your power right now and you claim your power and you share your story. Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome. My name's Sabrina Riccio, and if you're new here, thanks for joining, and if you've been here before, welcome back. So I am here with no script. This is a very impromptu video, but I felt called to record this because with so much going on right now where the elite is being exposed more and more as we're anchoring in New Earth and the Golden Age, and the truth will set us free. And that's what this video is. I'm in this process of, sharing more of my testimony and my journey in this Reclaim Your Power series. I shared in my last video talking about how, I've been healing and getting to the root of seizures, and I felt I was called to really share this one because, as more and more truth is coming out of a lot of the celebrities in power who have taken advantage of people in their most vulnerable states, I'm here to talk about my experience with John of God. So if you didn't know John of God is a healer, was a healer in Brazil, Abadania, Brazil, people would go. Oprah praised him for helping people heal. He was a spiritual medium and, people healing cancers and whatnot. And when I was 25, I made the choice to go to Brazil to go see John of God. Little backstory, when I was 23, so 2 years before that, almost 3 years before that, I was almost 26. But in 2012, I was struck by lightning and, I was just a mess. I was not in a good place, and I was going into my spiritual quest and my journey to find myself and to find God. But when I realized that God wasn't outside of me and God is within me, I was able to find God, right? But when I was 25, I was doing the typical 25 hippie finding herself journey. And what I've learned over time is you have to go through that to realize who you're not so that you really know who you are, right? So I was a huge fan of Oprah. Now there's a lot of things coming out about her. And there's even a lot of talks about John of God. And there's a lot more investigations, of him being a sexual predator and selling children and all these things and dark things that are anything but of God. And so, I think John of God, sorry, my eye itches. I think John of God, there was an issue where it was like, kind of like a cult kind of thing, a cult following. And again, I was 25 and I was really upset and trying to get through the hell that I was going through. And so I went to Brazil. Brazil has always been a place that I've wanted to go. And so I was like, well, if Oprah, as someone I trusted, like I grew up on the number one thing I wanted to do was meet Oprah. I have done things that's changed a bit over the years. But if I trusted, this woman that I trusted was like, oh, well, then, if Oprah's saying it, I should go. So I went to John of God with a group of people. Well, this one woman who, she was like leading the group. She was part of my Kundalini yoga teacher training, and I just adored her and I trusted her. And that was the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of these entities and energies will prey on the people who are most vulnerable, right? And I was definitely vulnerable because one, I didn't know how to protect my energy. And two, I was just like, oh my God, everything feels great. I just want to share it with everyone. And I didn't know boundaries at that time. That was a very, very tough lesson. But we went to Brazil. We went to John of God. And when I went to John of God, it was my turn. I will never forget this. And I've been navigating through memory loss the last 4 years since I started having these seizures, or what I truly believe are exorcisms of God pushing out all of these entities that hooked on to my auric field, where there were holes in the auric field. I'm going to do a video talking about the aura more, because that's something that I've always been passionate about since I learned about it, since becoming a Kundalini yoga teacher, over 10 years ago. But essentially, I had a lot of holes in my auric field, and I had a lot of trauma and places where I wasn't in my power. And so I remember I was on my way up to approaching John of God, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I need help to help rebuke this entity and this spirit that's festering on my energy. I go to John of God, and I brought my crystal with me. I had this heart that's labradorite, which is known as the stone of the shaman. And a lot of indigenous cultures believe that the initiation of the shaman is to be struck by lightning. And I was struck by lightning 3 years before. So it's it's a stone that I really resonate with a lot. But I brought this stone so, he can bless it, and I can have that with me while I would go into this fasting season and, pray after getting this blessing from him. And when it came time for me to go to John of God, I felt that he was like a vampire. My life force energy came out of my body, and I was crawling to him. I was literally on my hands and knees crawling, I felt my energy leave my body. And I felt like he was harvesting on my body. And because he even, when he was holding my crystal, his eyes rolled back. And that was a trip for me to see. I'm 25, right? I'm what is going on? And his eyes rolled back, and I was crawling to him before that. And, it took, and it's taken a long time for me to work through where my energy was taken, where I allowed people, because I was a people pleaser and I didn't have self-respect or self-love. And that's why I know I've had to go on this journey the last 12 years. I'm coming up on Monday of 12 years of really embarking on my deep spiritual journey. And I know I have had to go through all of this to, one, share my testimony of how, I've reclaimed my power back, to how being and navigating through my dark night of the soul has brought me closer to Christ. And 3, how I had to go through this so people don't have to. If I could share my testimony and share my journey, it's don't go, don't do these things. If you want to do it, that's on you, but I'm just sharing a word of advice. It wasn't pleasant. And, I went, I have a picture with me and John of God. It even got to the point that I became a daughter of the Casa, where I was blessed and baptized with John of God. I became a daughter of the Casa. And so it's been hell afterwards, getting through that and getting my power back and going on a forgiveness journey. But you know what? I've had to really come to terms that I was doing my best. And there was a part in that time where, I was really upset with God. I was alone. I was in separation from my best friend, the love of my life. I had to push away people that I loved to embark on this healing journey. I was in the whole victim mindset of why me? It was a lot of shit. It was a lot of crap. And now, as I've been on this journey of reclaiming my power back and really being in my sovereignty and valuing my worth and really owning it, it's amazing to see how justice is prevailing, and the people who took advantage of people that were most vulnerable for their own gain, they're getting caught right now, and they're being exposed right now. And this is what happens when we're in the age of Aquarius and we are navigating through Pluto and Aquarius. If you want to learn more, you can check out this video here about Pluto and Aquarius. But a lot of the truth is coming up, and we knew it was going to be a lot coming up around sexual predators and a rise in technology and just the change in truth and rebellion and for the light, the rebellion for truth, the rebellion for God, where we are revolutionizing the world of how it's been so that we can anchor in the new earth. And to me, part of anchoring in the new earth, especially post-eclipse, is having the courage to speak and live our truth. And so I wanted to come on and just share this quick video about my journey with John of God, because like I said, I fell deep into that false light trap. The enemy knew where I was the most vulnerable and took advantage of me. And it's been years of clearing it out, and it's been years of me being in isolation so that God can use me and work through me and on me to heal me, to reclaim my power so that I can come back stronger and wiser and come back not as a victim, but to be victorious. And I share this with you because I don't want you to be a victim. I want you to be victorious. Your past has no power over you unless you allow it. And so for me, I'm not allowing what happened with John of God to have power over me. But it was just very interesting. My mom yesterday, she's like, there's a lot of truth coming out now about Oprah and John of God, of how there was sexual trauma and sexual predators, and how, he sexually abused women and they had kids and sold body parts. I need to do more research on that. Don't quote me on that, but that's what my mom was sharing. And I was like, you know what? If I'm on my journey of reclaiming my power, I'm going to speak the truth about what happened to me when I was at John of God, because like I said, he took my life force from me. And, so that was in 2015. 3 years later, I started having these seizures. And so it's been a journey of hell, but my prayer is that now that I've closed out the 7-year cycle with this eclipse, that it can only go up from here. And the last 7 years has been about clearing out a lot of the entities and whatnot that hooked onto me and saw my vulnerability. I shared a lot about it in this video here if you want to watch, about my vulnerability and how the enemy wanted to harvest in my energy, being celibate and not valuing my worth for so long, and being in my power and respecting my own energy, and a lot of things that I've had to learn. And it took a long time to get here, but I'm standing here in my power. I'm curious to know if any of you have been to John of God, and if you had any wild experiences. I want to hear in the comments below. But again, this is me doing my best to reclaim my power. And I've created a whole program called Thrive, which will revolutionize your life. It's a program that will help you go from surviving to thriving, so that you can be a sovereign leader, because we need sovereign leaders. We need people who are courageous enough to speak their story and to share their truth. And we need storytellers, the people who are here to tell their story and to recognize, and because we know we're in this together, and that's why I'm here. Again, I know I've had to go through what I went through because God knew I was capable, that I can get through it. And I want you to know, God knows that you're capable of getting through what you're getting through as well. And when, there's been, choices of sin, which is just simply an error. And to me, I think the greatest sin is playing small, but because that's you not, respecting what God has for you and who God has designed you to be. But when we make errors, when we sin, God can transform that and use that for something better. That's what I'm seeing is happening in my life right now, with everything that I'm going through. And I get to be an advocate, for instance, for psychedelic therapy. And MDMA is on the process of changing. They're working on changing the, why can't I think of the word right now? Like the layers, like how they have different levels of, I can't even think of the word, but you know what I mean, where of what's approved, well, like what's valid and what's not, like the different rankings, because they're recognizing that MDMA therapy can help with PTSD. And this is something I'm extremely passionate about. This is my life's work, is psychedelic therapy. But again, I just want you to know, like, if you've gone through very traumatic things in your past, they don't have to have power over you anymore. And you can recognize and be in your power when you have the courage to speak and share your story and your journey. And this is me doing that because, I went to John of God, whatever. It doesn't have power over me anymore because I'm speaking up about it. And it doesn't have to be you going to John of God. It can be anything that has happened where, if you speak up about it, you're exposing that darkness to light. So the biggest thing you can do is open up that throat chakra and speak your truth. This is your Satnam, right? So I'm here because I want to help you speak your truth. I want to help you live your truth. This week until the 15th, you can get 25% off, paying full price for my program Thrive with the code ECLIPSE. I'll have that link in the description below. This is with all my courses, Business Alchemy. If you want to start building your business, 25% off. Again, code ECLIPSE. Or if you need help with your soulful systems, alchemize your systems, same thing, code ECLIPSE, 25% off. But again, I'm here in my power, and I'm excited as I continue on this journey to be able to look back and be like, damn, look how far I've come. Look what I've been able to accomplish. Look what I've been able to conquer. And I want that for you too. And you can have that. It's just up to you whether to decide like, hey, this ends with me. So this ends with you. That's my prayer. I want you to recognize that like it gets to end with you if you so choose. So are you choosing to reclaim your power and speak up about it and not have it have a grasp over you anymore? Are you? Anyways, it's been a journey. I'm here for it. I'm excited to share more about it. But thank you for being here. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment again. If you've had an experience with John of God, or if there's something that you're ready to reclaim your power from, check out all my courses, 25% off with the code ECLIPSE, now to the 15th. But again, thank you for being here. And just know that the world is ready for your medicine. And I'm here for you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.